And APC and Plus will have some other vehicles which are absolutely novel.
We want you to stay put with us for the next hour and a half or so. There's an awful lot to come, so we've got the best vantage point and our correspondents are out as well. Neil Harvey and Igor Piskunov. Let's go first of all to Neil Harvey.
It's a strong sense of remembrance, of dignity and of respect for all those millions who sacrificed so much so many years ago, many of them making the ultimate sacrifice, losing their lives. Things will build, though, to a bit of a crescendo. Though we'll see 16,000 troops marching behind me across Red Square. We're going to see a display of military hardware. Those tanks from the past, the T-34s that helped defeat the Germans, and also.
Well, Kevin, Russia sent out invitations to about 70 world leaders and senior officials. Around half of them are attending this parade. Earlier, President Putin personally greeted his Chinese counterpart. Also, UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon. We know also that the Indian, Palestinian, and Egyptian leaders are here. Authorities from many CIS countries as well, which just goes to show how international this date is, really.
Yeah, okay, guys. Well, thank you for that for now. As I say, it's 10 o'clock. You can see the, or we can see it. You can see it now too. The clock, that's a famous clock at the Kremlin, just striking 10 o'clock. And so, guys, of course, Sergei, this is now when the military parade officially starts. What can we expect to see?
First, we will have see certain organizations, like the marksmen will have to mark the positions for the lines of the parade, which is very important.
We're getting that big voice as well.
There are very many stories about that indeed, but the significance of this flag is very great because it's a victory flag, Russian and Soviet Army Museum, and it's like a shrine for the Russian people.
Now we're seeing it being
absolutely
lovely day for it as well. We're going to talk about that. It's always
through your television screens, but it's very hard to pass on what people
afterwards.
I think in light of all that we're seeing happening in modern-day geopolitics, it's a very important question now. What happens to the legacy of World War II when, one, the people who witnessed it are fewer and fewer each year, and when there is clear attempts to rewrite history?
Yeah. I mean, we're still saying there are nigh on 200,000 veterans,
Yes.
Soviet veterans still alive in Russia today. But of course, as the years pass, you see less and less. I'm just pointing out to our viewers, Sergei Shoigu, the defense minister. Now, tell us what's happening here.
What's happening now? It's there will be two things happening. First of all, the Minister of Defense is going to receive a report from the parade commanding general, and following that, there would be an inspection of troops. And everybody is commanded to stand at attention, as you'd appreciate, and unit by unit, they will pass by them and they will greet them. It's an official inspection of the parade, and they will certainly give them greetings, and they will certainly respond as it normally happens. As you can see,
Plus, every time I see this, because I was brought up in Britain, I guess no great surprise there. Obviously, this was covered there back in Soviet and communist times as well. It brings back some memories. You see these big cars, big Zils in the day, weren't they? Are they still Zils they're driving? What are those cars, the official cars these days? Well, a Mercedes, I can't quite see. So, this is the official inspection now. Yes. President Vladimir. Putin's about to speak at some time in the next 10 minutes, I guess.
Yeah,
as well,
but he will be the main speaker naturally, and he can only speak after the commanding general of the parade and the Ministry of Defense have inspected the troops, and they will actually report to the president that the troops are ready for the parade, for the march past, and that will inaugurate the speech.
Been a lot of conversation about the state of the armed forces in recent years, but there's been a lot of investment in recent years as well now, hasn't there?
Well, this is true. This is true, and I think the presence of so much or so many pieces of new inventory also stand testimony to that. And we will see quite a lot of, we'll have quite a lot of surprises during the parade, especially when the military
of the Western Military District, the troops of the Interior Ministry, military units of the Emergencies Ministry and the Federal Security Service.
The ceremony, the parade, as well as remembering the veterans, all those 4 million of souls that died. It's also about a whole generation, 3 generations, and how you make it relevant. And this is the 70th anniversary that we see unfolding in front of our eyes, the biggest parade ever. As we head towards the 80th, as we head towards the centenary of it, where's it going to go? How do you keep the young people?
I think that's a challenge not only for Western countries which didn't exactly have war on their territory like in America, but in Russia as well. How do you pass on the significance of what Russian forefathers went through once they're gone, the people that witnessed the war? This is a big thing because we're coming to the point in history where there will be no one left who actually took part in the war. We cannot underestimate that fact as we come to this anniversary.
But equally, as a foreigner coming to work here, you cannot underestimate as well the generations, the youngsters, the grandchildren, the old people. They're all so involved in this. Now, there's President Putin. He's about to speak. We've got a translation of it. Let's hand you over to hear what President Putin is going to say this Victory Day, the 70th anniversary, watching live here in Moscow on RT International.
Шойгу. Вольно!
At ease.
It's sometimes hard to tell. Put your hands up. Sometimes hard to tell what's new or what's old about it. The idea is it could become fully robotic, fully automatic in the future. Yeah, how's that work?
More robust and sturdier than the previous armor. It makes it lighter, so it really contributes to